What's good, NBA fans? Breaking news here. Paul George has signed a max deal with the Philadelphia 76ers, 4-year, $212 million maximum contract with the Philadelphia Sixers. I mean, we kind of knew this, like when I saw on Twitter that his wife followed Joel Embiid's wife on Instagram. That basically was a done deal. You look at NBA Countdown, they were doing an interview with Stephen A. Smith. They were basically doing like the post-game halftime show and stuff like that. For the NBA Finals, and they were just kind of giddy and giggling with each other. So you could kind of tell they were in cahoots. There, some sort of tampering. Technically not tampering, but I mean, we know these players talk all the time. They talk about it. Players got podcasts now, Podcast P. Paul George is a podcaster. Everybody's a podcaster now in the NBA for sure. Like almost every player has a podcast. Like when they get off the game, on their off days, whatever. You know, it's 2024 for you, so no knock on that. You know, they got to do stuff after basketball too. So shout out to Paul George for doing that. But from a basketball standpoint, this is something the Sixers got to do, man. They keep losing in the second round year after year after year. Paul George not getting the ring, so this is probably his best chance of getting the ring. It wasn't going to happen with the Clippers. You know, you look at Kawhi having a vacation, which is nothing wrong with that. But Russell Westbrook is going to be traded. They just re-signed James Harden. And the Clippers were just going nowhere fast. Either Paul George would get injured or Kawhi would get injured. Paul George did lead the Clippers to the Western Conference Finals one season when Kawhi got hurt. But if you look at the OKC trade, they traded Shea, Danilo Gallinari, basically Trey Mann, which is a first-round pick. Jalen Williams was a first-round pick. A bunch of first-round picks for Paul George to the Clippers. The Clippers traded a bunch of first-round picks for Paul George. It just didn't work out. You know, it basically was looked at as a failure. But looking at the Sixers, they just brought back Kelly Oubre. They signed Andre Drummond. They're going all in like they should and trying to maximize Joel Embiid's prime, man, because awesome player, had 50 points with Bell's palsy last year. I mean, that's incredible against the Knicks and still lost in the first round. Tyrese Maxey is getting into his prime as an awesome player. Is going to be a perennial all-star in this league. They still have Tobias Harris. Andre Drummond is a backup big. So, I mean, this is a really darn good roster. And the Sixers always have a good roster. They just, for whatever reason, they just can't get past the second round. Even with Ben Simmons, of course, when Ben Simmons was choking and whatnot in that series against the Hawks. But this is a good signing, man. This is a good sign. It's something they need to do now. They still got to go up against the Celtics, which is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Going up against the Celtics. The Celtics are still the best team in the East. In my opinion, but I think this is what the Sixers had to do, really, if they wanted to be serious. I mean, they had Jimmy Butler at one point, they let him walk, and they've just been super close. I mean, look at the other teams against the Knicks, the Celtics, the Bucks with Giannis, the Cavaliers. Those are the Pacers, the Pacers as well. I think right now they're a top 3 team in the East with these guys, but you can still be a top 3 team in the East and not make it past second round like they've been doing for the past couple of years. So they obviously they have to stay healthy. Paul George has to stay healthy. You can argue whether he's the second or third option between him and Maxey, you know, but I think him being that third star is kind of the best role for him at this point. Wasn't an overpay? I don't think so, because when you're trying to win a championship, you just got to make a swing and make things happen. You got to make a swing and make things happen, make something shake. And they still have a darn good bench. I got to see if Batum is going to come back for the Sixers. If he comes back, I think that's a good depth piece for them as well. Just looking at their depth chart, Cam Payne off the bench. Buddy Hield, I think, is still on the roster. They just drafted Jared McCain, who does a lot of TikToks. Kyle Lowry, we'll see if they bring him back. Mo Bamba, Andre Drummond, Paul Reed is off the bench. KJ Martin, who I like a lot. And then Robert Covington off the bench, too. So, I mean, it's all on these guys staying healthy, man. Health is the biggest part right here. That is the biggest part and probably the biggest obstacle for this team. So like I said, it's really just them and the Celtics and the Bucks. Like I said, I won't count on the Pacers either, but this is a necessary sign, and this is a big deal. Doing it at 3:30 a.m. He was possibly going to go to Orlando. Orlando was interested. That was one of the teams that possibly would have got him, but KCP went to Orlando. And then, of course, he opted out of his player option or whatever, and that last deal. And the reports were that the Clippers were not going to bring him back. And now he's with the 76ers. So the East is heating up, man. The East is heating up. Very competitive conference. All right, you guys let me know what you guys think about this signing. I think it's a really darn good signing. Do I think it's going to work out? Previous history with the Sixers, seeing them lose in the second round over and over again. Who knows? Who knows? All right, you guys. hell to. Oh, I remember when the Clippers first traded for Paul George. Everybody thought they were going to win the championship. I remember Patrick Beverley and Lou Williams were going crazy in the casino and that. So it's just so funny looking at history and whatnot. So you can't really get too excited and hyped up off of this trade. But I think it's a good trade for the Sixers. I give them an A. I mean, I'm not trading, but a good signing. They should have kept Jimmy Butler, of course, back in the day, two or 3 years ago. But this is a darn good signing. This is a good signing to keep Joel Embiid in Philly, keep him happy, and to push the race for the championship, their attempt to get the championship. All right, you guys, hell to the Wizards and Commanders. Peace.